I've always loved Japanese food, and like most things in Japan, well, they just tend to do things a little bit better than everybody else. To be honest with you, it's the same when it comes to trading. For example, we would trade a trend using a moving average, but in Japan, well, they would go on better using the Ichimoku Kinko Hoi, a far superior way of judging how the market is moving. In this video, you're going to learn all about a trend following strategy which uses the powerful edge of the Ichimoku indicator to tell you when to jump on a trend and also when to jump off. So grab your teriyaki sauce and your chopsticks and let's dive into Jaden Smith's Tenkan Kaizen breakout strategy. Jaden Smith's book 9 Strategies for Trading with Ichimoku is a treasure trove of techniques that connect price action with the Ichimoku indicator to pinpoint when the conditions are just right to pull the trigger and take a trade. The Tenkan Kaizen cross is all about finding a market that has made its initial breakout from a range and started to trend. It helps you filter out the false breakouts and keeps you in the move as the trend starts to develop. The reason this works is because the different lines that make up the Ichimoku do two very important jobs. They tell the trader what the current market conditions are and then also signal a warning when something has changed. They do this very clearly and very quickly, so you stand an excellent chance of cutting losing trades short whilst also having the confidence to let those winners run. This is a strategy that can be used on any market. Indices, commodities, currencies, crypto, it really doesn't matter. It's also time frame independent, so you can use it on any time frame where you can identify the setup. Now, before we define the rules and look at an example, it's probably a good idea to do a quick primer on how the Ichimoku works, so that when you see a setup on a chart, you know exactly what you're looking at and can understand what the Ichimoku is trying to show you in the price action. Ichimoku focuses on thinking about the market in terms of equilibrium, measuring the distance in price swings as the market moves away from equilibrium and then back again. It allows the trader to interpret this on a chart very quickly. It's made up of 5 lines and is one of the only indicators to take into account the past, present and future to help the trader forecast the next move. It then wraps this all around the current price action. The first line is the Chiku span, which deals with historic prices. It works like a sort of market memory indicator. It shows the trader where old areas of support and resistance from the past could interfere with the current price move. Next are 2 lines which connect with the present. The Tenkan Sen and Kaizen Sen work together and feel a little like moving averages. But they're a lot more intelligent. The Tenkan shows us how strong the trend is and the Kaizen is our key measure of where the market's equilibrium point is. They both act as the pulse of the market and are the central parts of this strategy. Finally, the general sense of bullishness or bearishness is created by the cloud or Kumo, which is shifted into the future. It's made up of the final 2 lines, Senku Span A and Senku Span B. The important point with the cloud is that we use it to pick our direction. When we're above the cloud, we're bullish. When underneath, we are bearish. If we trade in the middle of the cloud, that indicates the greatest level of uncertainty and is considered the worst time to take a trade. Now, this is a crossover strategy, so you'd be looking to take trades when the Tenkan Sen and the Kaizen Sen are crossing over each other. The idea being that the cross itself signifies the beginning of a new trend, just like you'd find with moving averages. From there, you'd stay with the move as the gap between the price and the 2 lines starts to widen. So let's define the setup and the rules. The basic setup is to go long when the Tenkan has crossed above the Kaizen or go short when it crosses below. You don't need to trade at the close of the candle itself, but you are going to need that close to confirm the cross. Anywhere in that area from then on is a good place to establish a position. The good thing is this gives you some time to evaluate the setup. Ideally, we need the price and the lines to be trading outside of the cloud. Jaden Smith says if any of the lines or the price are trading inside the cloud, then it should be a thick cloud, not a thin cloud. If we're entering long, then the future cloud should be pointing up. If we're trading short, then the future cloud should be pointing down. Now, this is the clever bit and where it gets its edge. It's very important that the Chiku span, the market memory, is in an area of clear open space. You don't want it buried in the past price action. What this does is it ensures that the market isn't going to encounter any past areas of support or resistance as the new trend starts to develop. This is a critical filter when you're trading a breakout strategy, and it increases the probabilities of finding a trade that is going to work and turn into a runner. Let's have a look at an example.
So we've got a really nice setup here on the dollar against the Swiss franc. This is a 15-minute time frame, and this morning we've had a surprise announcement of an interest rate cut from the SNB in Switzerland, and that has caused this huge spike on the 15-minute candle. So you can see the Ichimoku now is really starting to paint out this bullish trend, which could be a breakout that then pushes to the upside as the dollar strengthens and the Swiss franc weakens. So the setup is looking pretty good. We've got a cloud that is now starting to trend upwards. We've got that Chiku span, which is all important in having some clear space around it, so there's room for this trend to grow if it's successful. And most importantly, we've got some separation now between the Tenkan Sen and the Kaijin Sen. In the last 15 minutes, we're just getting that pushing apart between the two lines. That gap is now slowly starting to widen. So we can go long this market now. There's no specific direction on exactly where in Jaden Smith's book. We don't have to wait for a close of a candle or anything like that, but considering that where that gap has now started, we're roughly in line price-wise with where this gap has started. So this is an opportunity to now buy the market. It doesn't give us any guidance on risk management or position sizing, because the indicator itself is going to be our cue to exit a losing or a winning position. But I'm not keen on just entering into the market without a stop loss. So the industry standard will always be try and risk no more than 1% of your account. So that's what I'm going to go with just for this example. Now, in terms of where to place that initial risk, well, I mean, on the other side of the cloud would be the most conservative place to do that. So my stop loss is going to be around about 88.45 on this trade. So all I need to do is set the market up. I'm going to go in at market. My stop loss is going to be 88.45. I'm going to buy the market, and I want to risk 1% of my account on this one. And that's it. We buy the market. Okay, so now the trade's running, let's look at how we need to manage the position and exit the trade. We don't need to move our stop loss, and we don't need to aim for any particular target. Instead, we use a change in the Ichimoku itself as a cue for either taking a profit or a loss. This is done by following one of three simple rules. Firstly, you would take your position off if the price closes back across the Kaijin Sen. The key word there is closes. The price can trade across it, but we have to act if the candle closes on the other side of the Kaijin Sen. Number two, if the Tenkan Sen crosses back over the Kaijin Sen. Remember, these are like moving averages. The slope of the Tenkan Sen is showing us how strong the trend is. So if it weakens and slips back across the Kaijin, then that's definitely a sign that something has changed. And number three, you'd exit your position if price touches the cloud. Okay, so it looks like this is going to be our exit now. Just 2 minutes to go until the end of this 15-minute period, and you can see our close now. It's possibly quite likely we're going to close below that Kaijin Sen now, so this will be our exit. So I'm just going to tighten up our stop loss now, just so there's no disasters. And that, so not too bad for a 15-minute chart. It's around about 30-40 pips potentially, a couple of $100 with on a 1% risk, so not a bad day trade really. Okay, and there we got it. We've got the close there, so that is the reason to exit the position. I'm going to close that now at 89.34, and that's it. We are done. So this particular one, you can see where we went long there, and then we got that lift in the price action, and that separation between the Tenkan Sen and the Kaijin Sen, and we've got that close. Really neat and tidy day trade. Around about I don't know, it's around about around about 40 pips on the day. Not bad at all.
This is a strategy which all trend followers should get to grips with. The structure of the Ichimoku does an amazing job of finding the right breakout to trade and the right moment to join in the trend. The lines themselves provide the trader with a very clear framework to qualify the trend as it develops and gives you a lot of confidence to hold your position during times when the price is pulling back. Once you're in a trade, you can really sit back and let the market do the work. The difficulty is going to be searching for the right trade and being strict in filtering the different opportunities so that you aren't bending any of the rules just to suit your own inner desire for action. Patience in waiting for the market to set up properly is where you're going to be doing most of the work. Underneath the video, you'll find the Learning Materials tab. This has everything that you're going to need to start working with the Tenkan Kaizen breakout strategy. The PDFs explain all of the strategy rules with trade examples and a full overview of the concept behind the strategy and how the Ichimoku works. Plus, you can join in our Trade Together live streams every day and watch the coaching team put this strategy into action in the live markets.